Welcome to Public House, intimate conversations with people making a difference in the Hudson Valley. And now, from Paula's Public House in Poughkeepsie, New York, here's Paula Young.
Hi everybody, I'm Paula Young. Welcome to this episode of Public House, where we have Brad Kendall, who is the Dutchess County Clerk.
Great to be here.
Nice to meet you again.
Good to see you.
I've seen you many times. I've actually met you when I was trying to get a driver's license photograph, and you were so kind to me, and you didn't laugh at my picture.
I didn't.
No, you didn't.
But you want a new one?
I do need a new one because I don't look the same. I look so much younger now that I
Oh,
turned
well,
60.
we can do that for you.
Talk to me about what you do. What is it the county clerk does? Are you an elected position? Are you a appointed position? What do you do? What don't you do?
Well, it's an elected position.
Okay.
Dutchess County Clerk was formed in 1715 under the colonial government, and we've been there ever since.
1715.
1715.
Wow.
It was originally created to take care of the land records of the county, as well as the court records of the county. And then the functions have evolved over time. About 1921, we were assigned the task of taking over the Department of Motor Vehicles on behalf of the state of New York. So in Dutchess
In
County.
1921, how many motor vehicles were on the road?
Not a lot. It was actually a division of the Tax and Finance Department, but they knew they needed to have local leadership.
So you work with the courts, because I recently had Butch Anderson on and he mentioned you. He actually named you
Yep.
as working with him. You do county records, you do driver's licenses.
We do passports, no vital statistics. So town clerks, city clerks do marriage records, birth records, death records.
Okay.
We will do divorce records. We can help you with that, but we don't do vital statistics.
I thought divorce records were sealed.
They are sealed.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what
But
I
we
thought.
still have them. It's really a multitude of functions.
Right, it sounds like a lot to do for one office.
Yeah, it's actually, there are 3 constitutional officers in every county. The sheriff, the district attorney, and the county clerk. Those are mandated positions created by the New York State Constitution. As such, we are elected to our position every 4 years. So really, it's a fascinating job.
It's fascinating and way bigger than people realize.
Indeed. We collect about $33 million a year in revenue for a variety of entities, from courts to local records management to state education department, mortgage tax on behalf of the towns, motor vehicle fees, most of which go to New York State, and then local fees that fund the county clerk's office.
Now, the county clerk's offices are, aside from the motor vehicle buildings, it's in the executive offices here in the city of Poughkeepsie.
So the county clerk's office is in the county office building on 22 Market Street. We're on the first and second floor. We share the first floor with the Department of Motor Vehicles, which I oversee. And then in addition to the Poughkeepsie office, we have offices in Wappingers, Beacon, and then 2 offices, one in Millbrook, one in Pauling, and they alternate days.
Yes, I've actually been to the motor vehicles office in Millbrook, which used to be a well-kept secret.
It used to be.
No longer.
No longer. Across the state of New York, we're seeing unprecedented traffic, primarily because people are trying to comply with the Real ID requirements of their licenses. So beginning in October of 2020, if you wish to continue to use a New York State license to board a domestic flight, you need to upgrade to a Real ID compliant license or an enhanced driver's license.
I did not know this.
It is. You can use a passport for either of those purposes, but you can also upgrade your current license.
Well, that's interesting. Now, I really did not know this. So if I wanted to fly from here to Puerto Rico, which is an American, I would need one of these?
You would need either a passport, after October of 2020, either a passport or a Real ID compliant license or an enhanced driver's license. And to get the Real ID or the enhanced, you need to come back in, and we have to pretend like we've never seen you before in your life. You have to bring your original documents, either a birth certificate or a passport, a social security card or a social security statement, and then 2 proofs of residence.
Holy smokes.
And all the names have to match.
Holy
So
smokes.
it's,
That's complicated.
It is. And
Did you hire like 5,000 or more people to do all
No,
this?
we were authorized last year by the legislature to hire 3 additional people.
Three.
Three.
To do all that work.
To do a lot of that work, yeah. It's taken a 5-minute renewal transaction and turned it really into a 25-minute transaction. So the wait times are a little higher than we would like. We also are in the process of upgrading our queuing system in Poughkeepsie and Wappingers, our 2 biggest offices, which will give us more flexibility in how we assign the work.
queuing system, like when I go into motor vehicles, I take a ticket.
Take a ticket.
And
Yep.
I'm never G 172. It never comes up, it seems. I'm
Oh,
sitting
it
there.
comes up, yeah. Pretty much it goes in the order you come in, unless people are training, and then we have them in different categories. Plate surrender tickets get accelerated because those are quick and easy, and we assign that to the person proctoring.
You might be one of the busiest offices in the county.
All told, between the legal and the land division, we do about 440,000 transactions a year.
How many?
440,000
Transactions a year.
transactions a year.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now, does the county clerk, because you do have your hands in so many pots, get an opinion that's heard by the governor's office? Do you get a vote when they make these big decisions? Do you say, wait a second, this doesn't work that well, listen to me?
we have a very active state association. I was pleased several years ago to be president of that association. So we work with department heads in either the Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of State, but ultimately it's a state decision, and they're going to make that decision regardless of the input we have. We have been trying to get an increase in the retention we get out of transactions. So every transaction we do, we get 12.7%. That's supposed to fund our office. It has not funded our office completely since 2010.
So where do you get the extra monies?
The county clerk side, the legal side, generates enough surplus funds to cover the deficit in DMV. So overall, we run pretty much on a break-even basis. But last year, we lost about $250,000 on DMV transactions.
How is that?
Because the retention rate hasn't changed since 1999. So despite the fact we have increasing salaries over the last 20 years, increasing rental costs, building costs, the retention hasn't changed. So the revenue just hasn't kept up with the expenditures.
Well, that would be something that I think you guys should all raise your hands and say, hello, Albany.
We have been raising our hands for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. The state Senate, when it was under Republican control, was very sympathetic. The bills to increase retention passed 62-1. Not so much anymore.
But you would think this would be a bipartisan issue. This doesn't have anything to do with what group you're with, what religion you are, or anything else. It's basically a public function.
It is, but there's a disconnect because there's 62 counties in the state of New York. In 51 county clerks run the DMV. The other 11 counties are the biggest counties in the state of New York. They're run by New York State. So the people who represent those areas really have no not concerned, but they really don't have an understanding of how the counties function. And unfortunately, the vast majority of the majority parties right now come from those counties.
Well, it seems like this is something that you could put out for public dissemination. This sounds to me like this should be brought out so people actually know what you said, because I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah, we try to get it out as often as possible. We have a legislative agenda every year we share with state legislators. Interestingly enough, state DMV did not have a commissioner for the last 4 years. So there was really no central point of contact. There was an executive director who was very good, but she wasn't in the governor's cabinet.
Why do they choose to keep that commissionership empty? To try to save that $100,000? That's a whole lot of money.
No, that's a question for Governor Cuomo.
That's interesting.
So, yeah. But we do have a commissioner. He seems very dedicated to getting out to the counties, understanding the county issues, and we look forward to working with him.
Holy smokes. So let's see. You're up for election, re-election. It sounds like you guys have this huge job, that you're underfunded. It seems like the city of New York is really not either playing ball with the rest of the counties in the state or playing their own version of ball. And the general public, I don't think, has a clue.
That would kind of sum it up. I'm not sure about playing ball. They just clearly have different priorities.
Different game. They're playing chess. You're playing...
Well, it's not so much. It's just they're not concerned with Department of Motor Vehicles per se, because New York State runs it in their districts. We're very concerned with how it's funded and how we can provide the service.
Well, I hope that this gets everyone listening to understand, perhaps call your elected official and ask them what's going on here.
I can tell you that the last 2 times this has come up in the legislature, the local delegation has been very supportive of increasing the retention. As I say, it's gone through the state Senate. We've had support from D.D. Barrett, Frank Scartatos when he was
So you have
elected.
bipartisan support.
But it always got bottled up in the Assembly Transportation Committee. Because essentially whatever funding they give us, they're taking away from something else. So they're making that kind of assessment.
Well, I try to be apolitical, but I can always find ways where you can budget money differently if it
Yeah.
were up to me.
Oh, yeah.
And if it were up to me, we would have less cars. You know my theory, I was going to talk to you about this, which we didn't even have a chance, is why don't we, don't laugh at me, why don't we allow things like buggies with horse and carts, or more golf carts, or put a push towards more buses, less cars? I mean, is that something that you could even begin to oversee, or is that something else?
Well,
Is
if you
that
go
DOT?
upstate in the Amish country, there are quite a few buggies on the
Right,
roads.
but around here...
But there's also a lot of conflicts between cars and buggies,
Oh, of
which
course.
doesn't work out very well.
But for small communities, I mean, we have cars just to go to the 7-Eleven. Why can't people come up with a less polluting, less taking up space?
Yes, it's a question for the state representatives. Last year, they were trying to come up with a formula for regulating electric bikes,
Right.
and they didn't get that done. So,
So basically, politics gets in the way always.
well, you can't solve a political question without politics.
Brad Kendall, this was fascinating. I had no idea about any of this. I thought that you were the fellow that ran the DMV, but you actually have an extraordinarily complicated job.
It's a very, we do a lot of different things. We have a great staff of roughly around 60 people, very knowledgeable. And I served in the county legislature for 13 years. I used to say, in the legislature, you were lucky at the end of the year if you said you had a good year. County clerk's office, you can have a good day every day because all you do is help people.
Oh, that's a good thing. And that's what we have in Dutchess County, a lot of people that help people. Brad Kendall, thank you very,
Paula,
very
it was a
much.
pleasure.
Very interesting. This was interesting. What an interesting job. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again. Wow. Hi, I'm Paula Young, and I'm the proprietor here of Paula's Public House. Do join me for good food, good cheer, and good fellowship. We are here, we have fun, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. Come on down.